Thin scrap strips can be one of the hardest things to make look good, but with the right colours and a simple layout, they can turn into something really lovely. This was my starting point, a colour challenge and a pile of scraps in those same tones. I pulled a few pieces that would work together, cut them down, and started building from there. I'm working with thin strips here, and the one thing that really made a difference was adding a narrow strip of white behind each patterned piece. It just lifts everything and stops the patterns from blending into one another. Once those are prepped, I'm just trimming them down and starting to build the panel. I'm working from the top, spacing them out as I go. This layout is actually part of a printable guide I made during my scrap series recently. It's basically a repeatable pattern with all the measurements worked out. So if you like this kind of design, it's really easy to recreate. I'm placing these about 2 centimeters down from the top and working my way across. And you'll see here, I probably should have started slightly higher, but it all comes together in the end. For a bit of texture, I'm adding some linen thread down the side. It's a really simple alternative to faux stitching, which I've used in the past with this template, but you still get that same soft detail. For the sentiment, I'm keeping it simple. This particular one is from the Retired Rooted in Nature stamp set, and I've put it in a little die cut tag shape from the Retired Hydrangea dies. And this is a little trick I use. Cutting thin strips from foam dimensional edges so the tag can sit neatly over the thread without wobbling. Now you could absolutely stop here. This already fits that clean and simple style really nicely, but I'm going to take it a little step further. I'm adding a small spray of die cut flowers across the panel, mostly white with a few pops of colour from the leftover pieces of scrap that we used for these strips. It just softens the lines and adds a little bit of movement and texture. And again, you could leave it right here, but I wanted to add just a little more detail. These tiny white leaves tuck in underneath and give a little bit of contrast without losing that clean look. Now this part is really fiddly, but adding these tiny centers to the flowers I think made such a difference. It's one of those really little details that can really finish the card. I'm curious, would you have kept adding like I did? Or would you have stopped at the simpler version? And here's the finished project. Lots of simple elements, but laid in a way that makes it all feel just that little bit more elevated. I also tried this with a different color challenge, same layout, completely different feel. I wanted to test that the formula worked, and I'm really happy with the result. While I had the colors on my desk, I made a really simple version without that little white bordering, just to show that it's a really flexible way of using up your scrap. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you'd like to catch next week's video. Thank you. Bye.